Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the 2024 presidential election, but I guess you could also see that we're doing a little bit of 2022 midterm action, just a general discussion on why as of right now, and this could change, but as of right now the Republican Party is not in a very good position to be winning future elections that are competitive. So I've essentially outlined the competitive states the states that I think are going to be competitive in 2024. These are the states that I think are going to be within 5 percentage points for whoever the winner is, whether it be a Republican or a Democrat, who is most likely going to be Kamala Harris. But so just briefly taking a look at these states, there's some states that we could have a debate. We could talk about whether Ohio could be competitive. We could maybe discuss putting New Hampshire or Maine second district in there, or Iowa or Nebraska second district, or we could even have a discussion about Alaska, Montana, South Carolina, Virginia. But for right now, I think these are the states that are going to decide the 2024 presidential election without a doubt. So yeah, now just briefly taking a look at these: Nevada, Arizona, the Rust Belt, as well as Georgia went for Joe Biden, whereas Texas and Florida and North Carolina, I don't know why I forgot about North Carolina, but those three states did go for Donald Trump. Now, I think that Donald Trump did well in 2020. In retrospect, I think he did. He was dealt a bad hand. Although you could say that he dealt himself a bad hand, but he was not. He was not very. I guess. He wasn't very. He wasn't in a great position for re-election. The economy was not good. The misery index was, very bad for him. There were just a lot of things going on that did not look good for him, and he still won. He still won a lot of these battleground states. He still won Ohio by a pretty good margin, considering the fact that it was formerly a bellwether state. He still won Iowa. He still won Florida. So he still did very well in a lot of states. But the reason that the Republican Party is going to not do as well in these states come 2024 is, well, first, just to briefly put this out there, demographic trends, whether in the Rust Belt, the suburbs are trending away from Republicans, or in the Sun Belt, Hispanics are turning out. They're becoming a bigger and bigger group, and as we know, Hispanics, Joe Biden, he won like 67% of Hispanics in the 2020 presidential election, so they are a Democratic voting bloc. With the exception of Miami-Dade County, Florida. We can talk about that in another video, though. Now, I do think that there is some good news for Republicans, but I guess the fact that 2022 is going to be a Biden midterm could be a good thing for them, but it also could be a bad thing, and I'll talk about that too. So really, the Republican Party, they're so divided right now that I don't know what they're going to do. Now, let's just essentially split this into two categories. We have the Rust Belt and the Sun Belt, and I know some of these states aren't technically part of the Sun Belt. I mean, northern Nevada is a lot closer to, I guess, up here than down here. But, just for the sake of simplicity, first we'll talk about the Rust Belt, which are these three states, and then we'll get into the Sun Belt, the bottom six. So the Rust Belt, now, to win the Rust Belt, you have to run populist candidates. Now, there's a reason that Sherrod Brown in Ohio ran as a pretty liberal Democrat and still won re-election by 7%. There's a reason that Tammy Baldwin and Gretchen Whitmer were able to win by double digits in their states in 2018, despite the fact that Donald Trump won both those states in 2016. There's a reason that John Fetterman is getting so much hype for his 2022 Senate campaign. It's not that these are just good candidates for no reason. They're good candidates because they don't run as socialist. Like, AOC is a socialist, not technically, but she brands herself as a socialist. She calls herself a democratic socialist. And when people hear democratic socialist, they don't think of democratic. They don't think of free healthcare. They think of socialism. And socialism in America is a dirty word. 66% of Americans feel very uncomfortable with socialism. 2 out of every 3 Americans think that socialism is a bad thing. So, when AOC comes out here and says, I'm a socialist, that works for her in the Bronx, that works for her in a place that's 90% Democratic, but it does not work for her in a place like the Rust Belt, where you have a lot of non-college educated white voters who, they don't want socialism, they want populism, and that's why Donald Trump did so well here in 2016. And we'll take a look at these county-by-county maps in a second, but it's about messaging. It's not about policy, and people who think it's about policy are naive. They're missing the point. Politics is about rhetoric. It's about how you run a campaign, and policy could not matter any less when you run campaigns. Now, the Rust Belt, obviously, we can dive into the Rust Belt and say that the reason that Biden won these 3 states that are highlighted up here, we could say, oh, he got high turnout from Milwaukee, Detroit, and Philadelphia. We could say that, and that would be partially true. But we could also say that he did better with the white working class than Hillary Clinton did. So the white working class, you'd think, well, first of all, the white working class is very obviously, as you can tell by the name, these are white voters who are not college educated, or the majority of them are not, and you'd think that would be a big, I guess, a jackpot for a Republican candidate. However, the reason that these white working class voters have been more competitive or even leaning Democratic is because, Democrats for a while have had populist messaging, and they've created, or they've, in the eyes of these voters, have created more jobs for them than Republicans have. Now, that's why, it just taking a look at some of these states, like that's why Al Gore ran as a pretty liberal Democrat, or for his time, I guess you could say. Although today he's much more moderate. He still won Michigan by 5%. He still carried Pennsylvania. He still carried Wisconsin. John Kerry was a corporate Democrat. He still carried these 3 states. Barack Obama won these 3 states by big margins both times. He in 2008 and in 2012. Now, Bill Clinton, I think he kind of started this because remember back in the 80s they loved Ronald Reagan. They were called Reagan Democrats because they were registered Democrats, but they were definitely voting for Ronald Reagan. I guess they kind of stayed with George H.W. Bush in 1988. But when Bill Clinton ran a campaign focused on change in 1992, they switched to Clinton. He created a lot of jobs for the auto industry, especially in the Midwest. Like I said, in my Best Presidents video, he created 23 million jobs nationwide, which is huge, absolutely huge. And these voters, they vote on jobs, or a lot of them do. And Bill Clinton, he helped them out with that, and in return, they became Democrats. They voted for Democrats in the Senate, they voted for Democrats in the House, and then they voted for Democrat. Whether it be Al Gore, John Kerry, or I guess for some Senate races, we can talk about Debbie Stabenow. She was definitely a big part of that. We can talk about Russ Feingold in Wisconsin. I'm trying to think of other examples, but some examples of early 2000 senators from the Rust Belt that are Democrats that were very popular at the time. Now, let's just take a moment to dissect, I guess, the politics of your average white working class voter, non-college educated. These voters are socially conservative, meaning that a lot of them are pro-life and a lot of them are not necessarily bullish on LGBTQ rights. Now, the majority of the country supports, for example, the legalization of gay marriage. I think in most states, except for like Alabama's one I know for sure, but they prioritize the economy over social issues. In 2012, and I have the 2012 election results pulled up here, and we can get into that in a second, but these voters, Barack Obama, as we know, his Supreme Court voted to legalize gay marriage, and he was pro-gay marriage. He was pro-legalization of gay marriage. Mitt Romney he was kind of a flip-flopper on this. He sometimes, he didn't really have a clear policy. He gave a bunch of non-answers, in my opinion, when he was asked about it. But Mitt Romney was definitely more socially conservative than Barack Obama was, and you think that if a voter was voting purely on, hey, I don't like gay marriage, they'd vote for Romney. But the issue is that, or for Romney, the issue is that these voters weren't prioritizing that, and they voted for Obama's economic messaging. Obama, he created a lot of jobs. He didn't necessarily create the most jobs, but his economic messaging was better than Romney's because, you admit Romney saying that corporations were people, for example, and you had Obama didn't really have, I guess, gaffes like that, or that made him look like a corporatist, which does not bode well for him in these recent regions. So that's the reason Obama wants these states by big. I mean, he won Michigan by 9. He won Wisconsin, I think 6. Or he won it by 7. He carried the state of Pennsylvania by around 5. So, really, these were states, and we can take a look at their coalitions now. If it lets me scroll, it doesn't want to let me scroll down. But as you can see, obviously, Obama he did well in Milwaukee. He did well in Madison or Dane County. He won some of these Biden counties to go to. Oh, I was already there. I don't know why I was there, but Obama, he carried Door County, which is kind of a bellwether. He did better in these northern counties. But look at the coalitions. I mean, take a look at Milwaukee. Obama got 67% of the vote there. Compare that to what Biden did. Biden, he did a little better. He got 69% of the vote there. I think Dane, you see a similar thing by doing a little better than Obama. He did around 4% better there. But over here, these white working class areas like around La Crosse, the city of La Crosse in the county, I think La Crosse County right there, is a blue county, but these are red counties: Vernon, Crawford, Grant, and Lafayette. These are all Republican counties that Obama won because the white working class turned out for him, and they turned out for Trump because he had a populist message. I think we don't need to spend too much time talking about Trump's populist message. In Michigan, you can see a similar thing. Macomb County is the best example of this. Macomb County is a very working class county that Obama won by 4 in 2008. Biden lost it in 2020, and Hillary Clinton also lost it in 2016. As you can see, Biden lost the county by 8, and Obama won it by over 4%. A lot of these counties around here, I guess, not Oakland's not a good example, but Calhoun County, Kalamazoo County, which I actually think Biden won Kalamazoo County. He did. But, he didn't win Calhoun. He didn't win some of these other working class counties. He came very close to winning Eaton County. Eaton County was another Obama county. So, yeah. And then, going over to, I guess, Ohio, we can talk about Ohio briefly. I think Mahoning County is the best example of this. Mahoning was a really big Obama county. It was a 28-point Obama county, yet, Joe Biden lost the county, as you can see. Mahoning County did go for Donald Trump. It was close. He only won it by 2%, but Mahoning was a 28-point Obama county because of Romney's horrible economic messaging. So, populists do very well in the Midwest, and I think that in the Midwest, if Republicans want to win 2022, they have to run. Pennsylvania we'll talk about, but generally the common knowledge is to win. Like in the state of Wisconsin, I think that if the Republicans want to hold that seat, and if Ron Johnson does run for re-election, they should definitely run a populist who has pro working class messaging. That's how you win. That's how you win these counties. There's probably a name for them. This is how you win these Obama Trump counties in, I guess, southwest Wisconsin, the La Crosse area, I guess. This is a very swingy area of the state, and Obama won it in 2012, and Donald Trump won it in 2020. Yeah. Now, let's just say, I think Pennsylvania is a really hard state to dissect. I actually wrote an article about it. You should totally check that out. It's on Substack. It's on my newsletter. It's linked in the description. You should definitely go read that. It's essentially saying that Pennsylvania, people like to say Pennsylvania is trending red. It's not trending red. I wrote about that. But, Pennsylvania is really hard to dissect because on one hand, you do have working class counties that I'll illustrate to you right here. Let's pull up the results from 2012 and 2020. 2020. Biden, he flipped Center County. He also flipped Chester County. He did very well in Chester. He won it by 17. He won Center as well. But, he did worse in a lot of these areas surrounding Pittsburgh. Beaver County right here is a good example. Romney still won it by 6.5, but Trump won it by 18. He did better around Pittsburgh. Allegheny, more urban, so Biden did do better than Obama in Allegheny. He won it. Not too much. He won it by 20. Obama won it by around 14.5. But Biden did better in the suburbs, like I said, Chester County, Philly suburbs, but in these working class, in these rural counties as well. That too. But in these rural areas, in these working class areas around Pittsburgh, the Obama did well in these counties relative to Biden. Now, I think that it's important to remember that, Biden still created the state. I'm not going to critique his performance in the Rust Belt. It's very hard to flip states, and Biden flipped 3 of these important states. But he did not do as well as Obama because Obama won the state. As you can see, Obama carried the state of Pennsylvania by over 5%. Now, Biden, he did better than Obama in, I guess 2 of the states that we'll be discussing. Or actually, he did very well in these southern states. I think he outperformed Obama in Arizona, Texas, Georgia, as well as North Carolina, I believe. So, yeah, now, to those of you who don't know, I think most of you know, Obama did win North Carolina in 2008. It was close in 2012 again. We'll talk about that. But let's start with Nevada. Now, Nevada, as most of us know, Nevada, the Democrats do well here by running up. In Clark County, they have to win by around 10 points in Clark County and win Washoe, which is the bellwether of the state, I guess. Biden did both those things. He carried Washoe by 4. He carried Clark by 9. Or I think he carried it by 10. Obama won Washoe by slightly less. He won Washoe by 3.5. And he won Clark by more. So he did better. But the reason that Obama won Nevada by nearly 8% and Biden won it by 3 is because, in a lot of these rural counties, like I can actually, I'm fascinated by Nevada politics. I can go down this list. You got, I don't want to hover my mouse over because I'd be cheating, but you have Elko, White Pine, Lincoln, then Clark, and then you have Nye County right there above here. Then you have, I guess, these Republican areas of the state, and then you go down. You're going from Humboldt to Pershing, and then you're going down to Churchill County. So yeah, but these Republican places of the state, Obama did better. Obviously in Elko County, Obama did get destroyed by Mitt Romney, but he still did better than Biden, as you can see here. He did better than Biden in not Esmeralda. This is Esmeralda County. In Mineral County, Mineral County was a 25-point Trump county. Obama made it a lot closer in 2012. Obama only lost it by 11. So in rural Nevada, Obama did much better than Biden did, and that's why he won it by more. He did better in Clark, as I mentioned, but Biden did better in Washoe, so it kind of evens out. But yeah, and then Arizona, I guess Arizona was a great performance by Romney. Romney won it by around 10%. Maricopa, he won Maricopa by 12, and then Biden comes over to do the suburban swing and flips Maricopa. So as we can see, I think Nevada's kind of not really interesting in this regard, but Arizona is, because of the fact that establishment Republicans like John McCain and Mitt Romney did so well. Like in 2016, John McCain, he won his Senate race by like 12% on the same ballot as Trump won Arizona by 3.5%. So establishment Republicans do a lot better than I guess populist Republicans in Arizona. And I know that Radio Politics disagrees with me on this, but I watched the video. I wasn't that impressed. I mean, he said that Kirsten was arguably more Trumpian than Martha McSally. I don't know if anyone really believed that, but the bottom line is neoconservatism. I don't know why I can't talk today. Wins Arizona. In Georgia, we see a similar dynamic. The Atlanta suburbs, whether it be I guess you have Henry County, Henry County. You have Newton County. Gwinnett County is this is a 9-point Romney county. It went to Biden by 18. Cobb County is another one. So, and a lot of these counties went for Mitt Romney, as you can see here. Romney won the state of Georgia. He won Cobb. He won Gwinnett. He lost Newton by a little bit, but he won Henry. So he did much better in the Atlanta suburbs than Donald Trump did. He did worse. I guess you could say he did worse in the rural areas, although he also did better in the Atlanta exurbs like Cherokee County, which is a big Republican voting bloc. He won Cherokee by 58. Trump won it. Trump only got 60. I guess Trump won it, you could say, by around 39. So, just the Atlanta area. And, Biden even did better in Fulton. Romney got 35% of the vote in Fulton. Trump could barely crack 26. So, yeah. And I guess, I guess you could say that Obama did win Burke County, as you can see right here. Burke, it was an 11-point Obama county, but Trump flipped Burke. But to be honest, I'm not entirely sure about. I think that was kind of a random swing. You can attribute it to something. I'll have to look into it. But the bottom line is that neoconservatism does very well in the suburbs, which is why Arizona and Georgia flipped. But the Rust Belt trended, I guess, in the Republicans' favor. So, no matter who the Republicans run, in 2024, they're going to lose either the Rust Belt and win the Sun Belt, or they're going to flip-flop and win the Rust Belt but lose the Sun Belt. In 2022, they have an even worse problem because, if they nominate a populist Trumpian in Arizona, they're going to lose because, as we can see, Donald Trump lost the state. Martha McSally also lost the state by even more than he did. And, despite what Radio Politics says, she is very Trumpian. She votes with him like over 90% or she did vote with him over 90% of the time when she was in Congress. In Georgia, the Atlanta suburbs are gone for Republicans unless they start running much more moderate candidates who don't brag but having 100% Trump voting records. And in the Rust Belt, in Pennsylvania, no matter who they run, I think they're screwed because A, John Fetterman is a good candidate, but B, they also have to, hold on to Trump's margins in the rural areas, which they're not going to be able to do, and win back a lot of these suburban voters who went for Joe Biden, who went for Democrats down ballot. So, yeah, and that's why the Republican Party is going to have a lot of trouble come 2022 and come 2024, because they're not going to be able to play to both sides, and that is what's going to kill them in the end. This isn't to say that they're going to completely collapse. They're going to come back eventually, but right now I just don't see a path for them to win a lot of these races that they used to enjoy winning. So thank you all for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below. I'm going to try to get some more content out as soon as I can, but for now, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.